Welcome to Wayne County Connection. I'm your host, Michael Swigert. Thanks for joining me again as we promote Wayne County as a great place to work, live, and play. Every month, it's my pleasure to bring you a different individual and the agency that they represent and what they're doing to make Wayne County a great place to work and play, and also to encourage you to get connected and do your part. The best place to start with getting connected is at our website at waynet.org/cc. There you can find more information about today's guest and the program topic for today. You can also find information about previous guests and the topics that we've covered in the many years that we've been doing this program, promoting Wayne County as a great place to work, live, and play. I say that often because it's too easy to forget with all of the day-to-day things that we go through that this really is a wonderful place to be and all of the great things that are going on in and around our communities here in East Central Indiana. So we encourage you to get connected. You can also find links where you can share the program with people who may be out of the area or don't get it broadcast on cable television, and there are ways for them to view this program streaming and on demand, and you can find information about that again at our website, waynet.org/cc. And if you're interested in finding out what's going on around the community, there's a great calendar page on Waynet as well, and that's a great resource for you to get connected with the various programs and opportunities that are available here in our communities. Well, today we have two guests, and we are focusing again on libraries, and we're going to introduce you first to Brenda Campbell, and she is the library director at Hagerstown. Brenda, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you for having me.
As I said, you're the director at the Hagerstown Library, and we're glad to have you today. But for our guests who may not know you, I'd like to ask you to tell us a little bit about yourself and how you ended up here in Wayne County.
Sure, I'm a proud graduate of Marian University in Indianapolis. I got my first master's degree in human resources from Indiana State University. I got my master's degree in library science from IUPUI. I previously worked at Jennings County Public Library. I was also a director at Tyson Library in Versailles. And when this opportunity came open, my friend and colleague Ruth Frazier, who was director here, gave me a call, said she thought I'd be a great fit. And so I've been here for 3+ years and I'm loving it.
Well, welcome to Wayne County and welcome to Hagerstown. We like that community. It's a really great place over there. The library is really interesting, and a lot of people have some misconceptions about small town libraries, and we hope to prove what a great resource that is to not only the residents of Hagerstown, but to all of Wayne County. But can you give us a little overview? Tell us a little bit about the library, where it's located, and so forth, so that our viewers can get connected.
Sure, we are on College Street, just catty corner from City Hall, about a block behind the post office.
All right, there. And your website is up on the screen right now at hagerstownlibrary.org, and that's one thing that libraries have had to contend with is the proliferation of resources on the internet. But we want to talk about what a great resource Hagerstown still is. So what kinds of collections do you have available for patrons at the library in Hagerstown?
Well, of course, we have our traditional books and movies. We also have increased our books on CD. Those seem to be very popular. We've also greatly increased our e-resources so they can check out books, watch movies and things virtually without having to physically come into the library to check those things out.
So once you have a library card, not only do you have access to the physical media that's there in the library, but an entire digital resource for really touchless checking out of resources and, as you said, books and movies and so forth. And audiobooks are big in the digital space as well.
Exactly. We still have our core group of people that just love those books. They come into the library to get those physical books. Generally, they use the e-resources as a supplement to the books if they're traveling or, the pandemic, they're not quite sure about getting out or coming in. So we still have those people that really love to come in and get those books.
One thing that I liked about the Star Trek series was that the captains, centuries into the future, still treasured physical copies of books. It made me feel not so anachronistic, I guess, as it were. So the library has the books, and you have a lot of things there, and you talked about the digital space and also getting into the library of things where you're not just checking out books and newspapers and magazines and so forth anymore, but a wide variety of resources.
Absolutely. The library of things has become very popular for us. Ours started out with with pressure cookers so people could use them for canning. And now we've evolved. We've got a dolly, we've got cornhole boards, we've got a sewing machine, we've got a ladder. So maybe those are things that you maybe need just one time. You don't want to go out and purchase them. Come into the library with your card, check it out, use it for a few days, bring it back. And those things have really been valuable to our community.
Now, libraries have always been a resource for people to go and learn things, specifically for books, but other areas. And there are programs that the libraries have put on over time. Do you have any programs that are going on now, maybe to teach people how to sew or get connected with how to use that resource that then they can check out?
We don't yet, mostly because of the pandemic. It's been difficult to have people in. We did last year do a virtual gardening series, and that took people various steps, various plants, and that was very popular. Our children's program director, Janelle, has a great Lego program going on right now that's very popular. And we just got a grant for a 3D printer. So we're going to be starting to do some programming revolving around that.
That sounds really exciting. 3D printing is really taking off in a lot of areas, and there are a lot of things. I saw as a model railroader, I saw some plans to make scale buildings to go with a model railroad layout on a 3D printer.
Yeah, we're really excited to see where that's going to take us.
You mentioned your children's programming, and of course, children have always been a big focus for libraries, but specifically the resources that are available to school students are of interest right now. It used to be that when I was back in the day, and so many years ago before the internet, for those of you who don't know, there was that time that there was before the internet. It was World Books or Encyclopedia Britannica. Go to the library, and these vast volumes on the shelf were our only resources. But what other resources do you have now for students and their families to be able to complete their schoolwork or get additional information beyond what's in school if they're interested?
Well, those resources are now available online. I don't know a lot of the libraries that carry a physical copy of the encyclopedia, but those are available online. We can always come in. We're always willing to help students with testing, with research. They can always come here and study and use our internet. So we're always willing to help our students and even adult learners come in if they need some assistance.
Well, that was one of the things that you just mentioned, was being able to use your internet. It's a challenge, especially in rural areas, like many patrons for the Hagerstown Library would be. We also just saw a screen display that you have hotspots that are available for checking out. And so for people who might have limited internet or a gap in internet service, how does that work for your patrons?
We started out with 10 hotspots, and it's just that people don't have internet access, or maybe have access or just can't afford it, or even folks that are traveling. They come in, check out one of our hotspots. They can connect up to, I think, 10 or 15 devices on one hotspot, and it gives them internet. We did just get 5 more, so now we have 15. Most of them are usually out all of the time, so it's been a great investment for our library. It's something that we could do for our community.
And that's something that is available free to patrons, and all they have to have is a library card.
Absolutely.
Earlier at the beginning of the program, you mentioned that you have a big background in libraries. You served as director at a couple of libraries prior to coming to Hagerstown. So something that I'm interested in is, for you personally, why are libraries still so wonderful as a resource, and how do you share that with your patrons and the community?
Libraries, to me, are the great equalizer. There's no other place in our society that you can go that it makes no difference at all what your education level is, what your income is, what your age is. Absolutely every person has the exact same access to everything that we offer in the library. And we do try to promote that. We do try to let people know that this is a great place to come. People come here to socialize. People come here to get educated. People come to read a newspaper or a magazine. People come just to be entertained. We do movies. We have summer reading programs. So libraries is the one place that absolutely everybody can go, absolutely free of charge, and have the same access to everything that we offer.
That's a great example. And just on screen just now, we showed a picture of a cat. You also service pets, or what's going on with the cat at the library?
We do. A couple years ago, we adopted Newberry, and she has been a huge hit. We have people that come in just to see the cat, but she lets us know that she runs the place. It's her library. She just lets us exist here.
You said it's Newberry, so I'm guessing a science fiction fan?
She's after there's a children's book award, a Newberry Award. After that.
That's terrific. And I'm guessing that she also makes it kind of a more entertaining and more interesting place for children who might not be excited about going to the library.
Right. Like I said, a lot of people come just so they can visit the cat, just so they can see the cat. And the kids, they just love her. They just love her. She's a sweetie.
You mentioned earlier in your description of the libraries and what a great resource they are. People come just to read the newspaper. One of my fondest memories of libraries is when I would go to the library in my hometown. My grandfather went every day to read the out-of-town newspapers and sat for a while. And it was always a thrill for me to see him. I knew he was there, but it was kind of a thrill for me to see him. And I noticed over time that he would interact with that there were certain other elderly men who were at the library as well, doing the same kind of thing, either reading a book or reading a library, and it was a great way for them to get out and socialize. Of course, this last 18 months or so has made that less of an opportunity for people, but it is still a place for our community to come and get together and socialize in a safe space. Are there any restrictions that residents of Hagerstown or the patrons of the library might need to know about at the Hagerstown Library right now?
Not right now. Right now, we are strongly recommending that you wear a mask when you come in. We're not requiring it. We won't ask you to leave if you don't. We just strongly recommended it. And we make those recommendations based on information that comes from the Wayne County Health Department every week.
Well, Brenda Campbell is the director at the Hagerstown Library. And Brenda, we thank you for coming on the show today. In addition to being a patron and coming in and checking out resources, are there any other opportunities for people to get connected with the library? Do you have volunteer opportunities or?
We don't. We're not accepting a lot of volunteers right now just because of the pandemic. And, we try to have as a few people come in that we have a long-term contact with as possible. A lot of times in the summertime, we do have those opportunities, though, for teenagers to assist with our summer reading program. And, we're always happy to have people come in and visit with us and tell us their stories.
All right. Well, thank you for being with us today, and we encourage you to get connected with Hagerstown Library. You can visit them there in Hagerstown and also check them out online at hagerstownlibrary.org. Brenda, thanks for being on the show today. Wish you much success.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
And stay with us as we'll come back with Curran Koehler from Centerville Library in just a moment. Thanks for sticking with us for the second half of this great program on libraries here in Wayne County. I'd like to introduce you now to Curran Koehler, and he is the director at Centerville Library. Curran, welcome to the show.
Hi, it's nice to be with you.
Great. As you know, I like to start the program with a brief introduction for those of our viewers who may not know you. So tell us a little bit about yourself and how you ended up here in Wayne County.
Sure. Well, as you said, I'm Curran Koehler. I'm originally from Evansville, Indiana. Moved around a lot. Got my master's at IUPUI here just last year, as a matter of fact. So a little bit newer to the whole library situation. I have worked in libraries before, but not quite to this capacity. Before I was running an insurance office. So it is excellent. It's been an adventure leading the library through these interesting times. So
nothing like jumping right in the middle of a pandemic.
yeah, it was. It's been unique, but everyone said if we can make it past this, the rest should be pretty easy.
Yeah, there's a big learning curve there for everyone, and being new to the game would have been a bigger one for you. So that brings up the question: libraries, they're important to me and important to a lot of people, but how are libraries important to you, and how do you like to share that with others? It seems interesting that you've made kind of a career shift here, so I look forward to an interesting answer.
Yes, well, to me, libraries are really the center hub of any community, and it's a sign that a community is doing well and thriving. So the better the library, the better that reflects on the community. And we have many great programs, many wonderful people working here. So that's really what drew me into this field, is the people I can meet and the place. I mean, it's been a treat. It's been really wonderful.
I find it interesting that you described libraries as the center hub, and you're at the Centerville Library, so the center of the center there, as it were.
The irony isn't lost on me either.
There you go. So talk a little bit about, for our viewers who may not know much more about the Centerville Library than it was a conflict in the county seat here in Wayne County. Tell us a little bit about what's going on at the Centerville Public Library right now.
Well, right now, it's, we're having a lot of great programming going on. So far, it's a lot of it's online, unfortunately, but we do have book clubs still meeting for our younger patrons. Right now, we have two about to start here in mid-October. We really wanted the kids to get settled down in school before we, jumped into our book clubs here. So we'll have two of those going on here in the middle of October again. For online resources, we have bedtime stories for, again, younger patrons. We still have the STEM activity kits and a bunch of other wonderful offerings. So if anyone is curious, just give us a call and we'll be more than happy to walk you through that process and get you going. For our adults, we're going to try to get some, again, in-person programming going on, but that's been a little bit more difficult with everything that's been going on with the pandemic, but we'll keep you posted.
So in addition to the traditional resources of books and magazines and so forth that are still available for checkout, you've mentioned some different types of things. You just mentioned STEM kits. What are those? That's not something I'm familiar with at the Centerville Library.
Those are kits that you can check out. So they have a bunch of interesting things, stuff you can make, crafts, books, free books. I mean, just a whole bunch of things that, the kids we've got nothing but praise for those. So we're going to continue doing that this fall as well.
And those STEM kits are themed around different activities in science, technology, and so forth. Are there consumable supplies that a patron might have to supply in addition to the kit, or is everything included?
Everything's included. You just check it out and you're ready to go.
And there are a variety of topics that look like available, so it's not just look at the Pythagorean theorem, for example, or something. It's a variety of topics.
Make sure it's entertaining. Yes.
And those are geared more towards elementary school students, junior high students?
Elementary, really.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. There sounds like there's a lot of programming geared towards elementary students at Centerville Library. You mentioned the bedtime stories, the book clubs that are coming up and starting in October, the STEM kits. What other types of activities are geared towards elementary or junior high school students?
Well, so we'll be having the fall walk around the library again, where we will pick a topic, and then you get to walk around the library, and it's like a little scavenger hunt where you get to find whatever they have set up there. And it's just like you find everything, you bring it in, you can win a prize. So it's been very fun watching them walk around the library. It's not lost on us that the pandemic has been especially hard on our younger patrons. So we're really trying to reach out to them to keep them engaged during this interesting time again.
And that's a great way to get them engaged. One of the things that I like to ask librarians about is what resources do you have that are available to school students and their families? Because as I mentioned earlier in the program, you know, it's not just go in and get the World Book off the shelf. It's not the only option now, but what kinds of resources do you offer that might be unique or in addition to the resources that are available to students to help them with their educational activities?
Well, we, along with the Hagerstown Public Library, have invested in some hotspots. We haven't been able to keep them in, so we're going to be ordering 3 more here. We started out with 3 just to test the water, and we just haven't been able to keep them in. So we're going to get some more hotspots as well. We've recently got Hoopla going, so we'll be offering that shortly. That is a media program where you can check out books, movies, all at the expense of the library. So again, wouldn't owe anything, and just you'll be able to check out pretty much whatever you want within reason there. So we're expanding our online offerings there, and we just during these interesting times we've been trying to keep up, but it's been interesting to say the least.
One thing that I kind of missed, didn't address directly with our previous guest, also a small town library here in Wayne County, that you kind of mentioned with Hoopla is there's a kind of a perception that small town libraries have limited resources, and maybe older patrons might be familiar with the interlibrary loan that kind of expanded the opportunities to check out materials that may not be on site locally. But with the expansion of the internet and these additional programs like Hoopla that you mentioned, the opportunity to and the quantity of resources that are available are greatly expanded. And they're, as you said, at no additional cost. It's just part of having your library card.
Yes, yeah. All you need is a library card, and you just need to live in Centerville Township or Abington. We'll get you set up.
And the Centerville Public Library is especially easy to find, being as it is right on 40.
Yeah, it's slow traffic right now, but normally you can hear the cars from here.
Well, we're glad it's not interfering with being able to hear you today. The library also has a website and some resources that are available there. And your website, again, is just centervillelibrary.info, correct?
That is correct, yes.
And you can do that. Do you still have to show up in person to get a library card?
Unfortunately, that's the system we work with. But yeah, in order to get a library card, all you need to show up. We are requiring masks, unfortunately, but yeah, all you need to do is show up and we'll get you going.
Okay. And then once you have the library card, in addition to the resources that are available at the library there, you also have this digital resource. And Hoopla is kind of interesting because it has ebooks and audiobooks and movies you mentioned. What kinds of other resources are available to people? But more importantly, what if somebody says, hey, that sounds really interesting, but I don't have any idea how to use that. Can you help me with that?
Yes, we'll be more than happy to get you set up here. You can call in, walk in still. And like I said, as long as you have a library card, we will, I'll do it myself if I have to, but we'll be more than happy to get you going there.
And you mentioned that you've got some programs starting up for the younger patrons, and you're hoping to get some more for beyond elementary age patrons coming up in the future. But if a person does have a concern or an interest that they are wanting to pursue, what kinds of resources do you still have available in person or online to help patrons with other issues that they might be facing regarding library science?
Well, we have the computers here. You're more than welcome to come in here and You can still call in. We'll do what we can over the phone to help you out. We have many other resources besides to get you going. So really, it's interesting times again, but we understand and we're here to help.
Does Centerville Library do anything to promote local authors?
Yeah, matter of fact, I think it was Morrison Reeves just sent us one of those read local packets. So if you want to come in and check one of those out, we might not have all the authors, but we can definitely get them for you if you're interested. So we encourage everyone to read local, and we'll do what we can to get you connected with a local author. So just come in if you're interested, and we'll get you going there as well.
That's one more way to connect with your library and connect and promote Wayne County as a great place to work, live, and play. And maybe if you find a local author that you enjoyed, you could share that with someone out of the area and spread the love for Wayne County and throughout Wayne County via the Centerville Public Library.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Curran, are there any other things that you would like to say as we come to the close of our program to promote Centerville Library or libraries in general?
Right now we're in the process of getting our friends group going again. It's a group of volunteers. So as soon as we get that going, we'll put something in our local newsletter. So if you're not subscribed yet, go to our website and there should be a link there to sign up for our newsletter. Once we get that going, it'll be a great help if you want to volunteer and help the library and help the local community. So we're not turning anyone away. So if you feel like helping, just sign up and we'll get you connected.
Curran Koehler, the Library Director at Centerville Public Library, thanks for joining us on the program today, and best wishes for future success.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. And I'm your host, Michael Swigert. Thanks for joining me again for another exciting episode of Wayne County Connection. Again, do your part to get connected at waynenet.org/cc. Thanks to our producer, Jenny Lahman, and our director, Wes, and Whitewater Community Television. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next month.